If you're like me, as a conscious, busy woman, you know that you need boundaries. You know you need to protect your time and your energy, but it's a challenge. And you know that familiar feeling when you say no, when you find the strength to say no and keep your boundary, but then you feel guilty about it and you feel drained. So I'm here to tell you that that guilt is simply an energetic pattern and we can shift that. And today I want to share with you 3 energetic boundary hacks to help you to be able to say no, maintain your boundaries without the guilt. I'm Deborah, and today I want to talk about how to maintain your boundaries without guilt so that you can actually restore and not feel drained and resentful and anxious because you're working so hard to protect your time and energy. So much of our guilt response to saying no is based on a primal survival mechanism. You know, in ancient times, we had to stay connected to the tribe in order to stay safe. Being alone, isolated, or separated from the tribe meant danger. So that guilt that you feel when you say no is really a message that from your body that was wired back from your primal times in order to keep you in compliance, in order to keep you safe, in order to keep you as part of the tribe so that you wouldn't be isolated and alone. But now in modern times, we don't need to comply with that kind of message anymore. Um, we don't have to listen to the guilt messages that we receive. And guilt actually triggers a similar response to fear. It shifts your vagus nerve from a state of calm to a state of high alert or even shutdown. And you might experience that in your body as a tight chest. You might feel your stomach turn. You might get hot all over. People experience it different ways, but this is all related to the your body feeling like your body really showing you that it feels a sense of danger because especially when you're first creating boundaries, they are unfamiliar, and that anything that's unfamiliar can, even when it's good, create stress. And so that's the message that the body is giving you when you feel that guilt. It's like, what is this? This is new to me. And even if you've been practicing maintaining your boundaries, there's always that unknown of how is this person going to react? What is the response or the consequence going to be for me saying no in this situation? And all of that can create stress that we can feel in our bodies. And I know this because I have experienced this many times. You know, I used to be a devout people pleaser. I did whatever I needed to do to gain approval. I have to say, when it made me a very good employee because I really wanted to please my boss, do the right thing. And if they wanted me to work overtime, they wanted me to work extra, if they wanted me to go, I mean, I naturally go above and beyond anyway, but I found myself running myself ragged because I didn't know how to say no. I was afraid to say no, and it was unfamiliar to me. So in today's video, I really want to talk to you about how to repattern your response. That anxious, stress feeling you feel when you say no to something and you feel that guilt, that is a learned response. And you can teach your nervous system that having boundaries and saying no doesn't have to lead to a stress response, that you can actually remain calm and that boundaries are actually safe. And so that's what I want to do with you today because it's something that I've had to learn. Like I said, I was a devout people pleaser, and I took me decades of my life to really learn how to say no and get comfortable with it. And it was only because I was giving away so much of my time and energy that I knew it couldn't continue because I was so spent. And when I started to say no, I did feel guilty. I did feel bad. I would worry about it, stay up at night wondering what the consequences of my no meant. And so I want to teach you today some ways that you can maintain your boundaries and continue to grow and take back and reclaim more of your time, energy, and power, but without the guilt. You can signal to your brain that boundaries are safe and there is no danger. And like with anything, it takes practice. But I promise you that the more you do this, the more you are intentional about working with your boundaries and working with that guilt response, it gets easier. That guilt response starts to fade in intensity until it becomes like second nature to be able to say no without guilt and feel really good about it. So, what I want you to understand is that boundaries are energetic and spiritual self respect. By having boundaries, you're keeping your energy intact so that you have the energy for what you really want. I want you to know that guilt is just a messenger from your body, from your nervous system. It is not your master. You don't have to fight it. In fact, fighting it wastes more energy, and actually, in the struggle of that, the energy you put into that just makes it bigger. Instead, you can teach yourself a new way to respond. So, I want to share these 3 energetic boundary hacks that I feel are really they're very easy to do, as long as you set the intention to do them, and they really help deal with the obstacles we all face in saying no. So, the first hack that I want to share is the energetic scan and gut check. So many times when it comes to saying no, I can remember I would always get in my head about it. I was always thinking and analyzing and plotting as a good people pleaser. Like, okay, if I say this, what will they say? What will they do? And I was often making my decisions based on this analytical process that had nothing to do with what I really felt inside, what was true for me. And I want to spare you from doing that. I want to teach you that it's okay and it's important to actually check in with what your body says. If you're not sure what to do, or if you're sometimes you are sure, but you're afraid to express it, really check in with your body, because your body is a truth barometer. We feel everything in our bodies. And because of modern life, we have become sometimes numb to even paying attention to it. We don't give any credence to our bodies and what they feel. But if you do, it's got amazing insights for you, information for you that can guide you. And if we align ourselves with our decision making, with the messages that we're getting from our body, then we can take back our power. So, with this energetic scan and gut check, the first thing that you want to do is when a request comes in, an invitation to an event you're not sure you want to go to, somebody asks for a favor that you really don't have time for, what you're going to want to do in those cases is just pause and ask yourself, does this serve my highest peace? And then stop and just notice. Just notice. What do you feel in your body? Do you feel tightness in your chest? Do you feel like your stomach is turning with anxiety? Do you feel suddenly lethargic and heavy? Or in the case of situations where it's something positive, you might suddenly feel energized. You might feel excited. You might feel your heart race in a good way because you're excited by the prospect of this opportunity. So it's really important to do this energetic scan and check in with yourself so that you can find out what your body is really trying to tell you about this, what your nervous system is really trying to tell you about this. And it can help you cut through the chaos of our minds sometimes if we try to like rationalize, and which I'm an expert at. If we try to rationalize or make these analytical decisions and weigh the pros and cons, I mean, all of that's great on one level, but sometimes you just got to do that energetic scan and gut check and ask yourself and your body, what do I feel about this? And what you're looking for is to identify, are you feeling openness, which would signify safety, and that, perhaps this is a good choice for you. Perhaps you can say yes. Or are you feeling contracted? Does your energy kind of like pull in? Because that would signify that on some level, your body feels danger. Some part of you feels that this is a dangerous situation, not necessarily like harm is going to come to you, but rather that it puts your inner integrity and your inner peace at risk. So once you've paused and done that energetic scan and that gut check, what you do at that point is you don't give any kind of response. Instead, you simply say, I need time to check my schedule and I'll get back to you. So you can have many varieties of this. Like I said, I'm an overthinker, people pleaser type. Like many of us women, just always doing all the thinking for everybody. And so I used to over explain it. I used to say, oh, I let me get back to you because I think something's happening with my niece that day. And so I'm not sure if the scheduling is going to work out. Don't do it. Don't be the old me, because it just created more confusion, opened the door up for them to actually like shoot holes in my rebuttal. And honestly, you just don't owe anybody an explanation. It's enough to just say, I need time to think about it. I'll get back to you. I got to check my schedule. I got to see what else is going on. I'm not sure in this moment. I got a lot on my mind. Whatever it is, you don't need to explain beyond that. Give yourself time to respond. And that way you can actually, when you do respond later, you can actually come from a place of peace and calm and clarity. And one of the things I did when I first started using this technique is I practiced doing it even with things that I felt good about and wanted to say yes to, because I realized I just needed practice to get used to going through this process in my head, and practice like uttering the words and saying I need time, and buying myself time and getting back to somebody later. So I encourage you to, especially at first, practice it even with things that you feel like certain about and you want to jump out your seat and say yes about. Practice giving yourself that space, because that'll make it easier when you need to do it, because there's something that's a challenging situation and you actually want to say no, but you really need to give yourself space to do that. So this next hack is the energetic shield. And I love this because, again, it's instantaneous. You can do it anywhere. And the idea is that when someone comes to you with a request, an invitation, whatever it is that someone may be asking of you, whether even if it's by text or email, you can do this energetic shield. The goal of this is to defend your energetic space and reinforce the boundaries that you have. You don't need to take on other people's chaos, demands, and expectations. So, in order to do the energetic shield, what you're going to want to do is when you get approached, when that request comes in, when you see that email, when you get that text, when you have that conversation, those are the tough ones in person, because you really have to be conscious and in order to create your space and to maintain your boundary. But when that comes in, what you want to do is visualize an impenetrable sphere of calm all around you, an energetic sphere of calm, at least 3 feet out from your body, going from your body at least 3 feet out. And the more you embellish this visualization, the more details you add, the more powerful it'll be for you. So you can think about the colors, which for me, gold and pink, especially mixed together like an opal, are one of my favorite combinations. It's a beautiful high vibration color and image to me. So imagine that sphere of calm all around you. You can even imagine a temperature. Is it warm? Is it cold? For me, it's warm and nurturing and protective. And as you imagine this, right, as you like putting up your energetic shield, then you also want to plant your feet firmly into the ground. Feel the bottoms of your feet. Even if you're wearing shoes, it doesn't matter. Just press into the ground and hold your space. Feel your space. And what this does is it provides both a mental and energetic barrier, force field, as well as the physical act of grounding your feet into the ground helps remind you to hold your space. And while this might seem small, everything is energy. So the visualization absolutely matters because the visualization creates that force field instantly. And holding your space, grounding yourself into the ground also creates that space and strengthens and fortifies your energy instantly. So, one of the things that I would suggest with this, especially because I've done a lot of visualizations, is you want to try to think about your visualization in advance. It's hard to do a visualization for the first time on the fly. So actually think about what that energetic force field looks like and really play with it when you're not in a situation that calls for it, so that when the moment arises that you need it, you can conjure it and call it up like that. And you don't have to be, you know, fiddling with the details of it in your mind when you actually just need that energetic shield. Practice it in advance. Practice it before you go to work for the day. Practice it before you go into different settings, that you maybe it's even going to the grocery store or just any setting where you feel like you need a little extra energetic shield. Practice it so that when you have those interpersonal situations where you really need the energetic shield to shield you from the energy that someone else is coming with you at, or rather coming at you with, that you can call on it. Because so many times when people come to us with their requests, they're stressed out. They've got stuff going on. They're listening to other people's demands and they put that on us. And you want to shield yourself from that so that you can maintain your peace. And again, come from a place of calm and clarity in everything that you do. So the next hack that kind of brings the whole protocol full circle is the inner peace anchor. And what this is the goal here is to teach your nervous system a new response instead of guilt. And you're teaching it that creating that boundary, even though it feels dangerous, it's uncertain, that it's actually safe. And the way we do that is by using a mantra and then stimulating the vagus nerve with 478 breathing. So, first, you want to select a mantra for yourself. And again, you want to put some thought into this ahead of time so that it's accessible to you in the moment. Practice in your mind mentally those scenarios where that coworker or that relative comes to you with another request that you don't want to say yes to. Imagine how you'll use this in response. And so, with this inner peace anchor, first you're going to say your mantra. And the idea with the mantra is that you want to counter the thoughts that you normally have when you have guilt over saying no. So whether those are thoughts that, I'm a selfish person, I'm a bad person. So then you could come up with a mantra like, my peace protects my power, or my energy is worth protecting. So you want to have a mantra that really reminds you of the truth of the situation, which is that your peace, your calm is your priority. And then you want to follow that up with 3 rounds of 4-7-8 breathing. I love 4-7-8 breathing. I discovered it years ago, and it's helped me so much in situations where I was anxious, overwhelmed, and triggered. And it's so accessible. You can do it anywhere. People aren't going to notice. I've done it in front of people they didn't notice. And the key with 4-7-8 breathing is that you're going to inhale for 4, for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and then exhale for a count of 8. And that hold and that exhale are especially important to reset your vagus nerve. So that hold for 7 actually slightly increases the carbon dioxide in your system, not in any unsafe way, but that increase actually slows your heart rate. And that long exhale for the count of 8 really slows your heart rate and turns on the calming mechanism of the the vagus nerve, however you say it. The hold for 7 actually increases slightly the amount of carbon dioxide in your system, and that causes your heart rate to lower. And then you add on that 8-minute exhale. I'm sorry, 8-second exhale, and that lowers your heart rate more, communicates to your vagus nerve that it's okay to relax, that it's okay to be calm, and that triggers that calming state and turns on the parasympathetic nervous system. So I love this one because I've used it myself in many real life situations, and it's so helpful. And by using the mantra to counteract the mental thoughts, as well as the breath work to deal with the physiological and energetic response, you're really addressing all the levels of what's happening when you have that guilt response, so that you're not struggling with the guilt that you might feel about saying no and holding your boundaries. You're actually resetting, repatterning your nervous system so that it can become more comfortable saying no, and it becomes easier over time. Boundaries are how you can protect the power you've worked so hard to reclaim in your life. And you can use this protocol to make peace your priority with these simple, easy, accessible hacks that give you instant access to a different state of being when you implement them. So now I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 hacks will you try in the next week? Will it be the energy scan and gut check, the energetic shield, or the inner peace anchor, or all 3? Because they really do work well together. Leave a comment below with which one you'll be using so that we can inspire and support each other as we implement practices to be our best selves and to hold our own and reclaim our power so that we're not giving it away all the time. If you like this video, then you'll want to check out my next video, which is about how to stop anxiety triggers and instantly restore calm. And if you got value from this, please share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.